Hi everybody, it's Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live number 141. Today we're going to talk about open and closed vowels singing, and the high larynx. So basically what I wanted to say in a short little pithy word was what my thumbnail is saying, that the larynx, or the vowels, can raise the larynx. And conversely, the vowels can lower the larynx. So we're going to talk about that today, and I'll give you examples of vowels and what they can do. So welcome to this broadcast. I want to make sure that we're on live for everybody and not privately. So thanks for joining me today. Happy summertime to you. It is going to be 100 and I don't know, it was over 100 here yesterday. Darko, nice to have you with me today. Great to see you. Hey, Kevin. Hi, nice to have you here with us. So, this is something that was completely new to me, and it took a long time to finally sink into my head. So if you will think about for a second, when you're singing a song, when you're doing exercises, it seems like everything stays good. You know, you're staying in your mixed voice, you're moving up and down the scale, everything is nice and smooth, there's no cracks or breaks. And then when you start singing a song, what happens? You start cracking or breaking, or it starts feeling strained. And so it's really, I get this question all the time. How come in the exercises I can do it okay, but in the songs I can't? Today is the answer to that question. And that is that vowels can raise the larynx and can cause you to strain, to crack, or to break, and to certainly fall out of your good coordination. Hi, Edgar. Nice to have you with us today. Abby. Hi, Abby. Nice to see you today. And Daniel, thanks for joining us. So put your hand here on your Adam's apple. So Abby, you've got to take your finger and kind of trace down your neck, kind of press in a little bit until you feel that first bump. That's the top of the larynx. That's your Adam's apple. So trace down there, press in a little bit and feel that. For us guys, it's pretty prominent. Now, with your finger there, I want you to say, ah, ah, ah. Everybody do that. Ah, ah, ah. Where does the larynx go? Does it go up? Does it go down? Does it just sit there? Say ah, like cat. Ah, ah. Apple. Ah. Let me know. Tell me in the comments. Where does it go? Ah, ah, ah. Does it go up? Does it go down? And let me know. Now say uh. Where does it go? Does it go up? Does it go down? Or does it just sit there? Let me know in the comments. Goes, tell me. Now, hey, Alan, nice to have you. Greetings. So now I want you to say them together. So Daniel's on ah goes up. Marietta, hi, I'm Marietta. Marietta, I want you to do this. I want you to put your finger here on your Adam's apple and say ah, 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 ah. Everybody do that. Can you tell which one is raising the larynx and which one is pulling it down? Marietta says it just sits there. Good for you, Marietta. All right. Janet says it's going down. So if I say ah, 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 it goes up. Nah, nah, nah. If I say it goes down. So now everybody just say ah, ah. Look at mine. eh, 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 cat. I'll just say cat, 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 call, cop, coat, cuh, come, come, cat, come, cat, come, cat, come, eh. Can you see it and feel it moving up and down? Vowels can move the larynx up, and vowels can allow the larynx to at least stay on the level, speech level, where you talk. Jennifer, hi Jennifer. Goes up, stays in place. Okay, so on my uh, uh, go a little deeper with it, Jennifer. Uh, uh, like a little dopey, a little bit like let's pretend you guys like you're making fun of somebody and say duh, 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 uh, 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 uh. Kind of depends on how you say So, but at worst, keeps the larynx level or fairly stable. Uh, 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 uh. If I said nook, n, it stays pretty level. Goes down. Okay, so isn't it interesting that a vowel can affect where the larynx is riding, so to speak? Duh, yeah, duh pulls it way down, doesn't it? So one of the things you can do, and that I teach, is that when you add that dopey sound, duh, to like an exercise like gee or guh, 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 or goo, 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 goo. It's pulling the larynx down or holding it in place at least. And so it's kind of a useful thing to know that the sound will pull the larynx down. But that's separate from what we're talking about today. I'm just talking about regular vowels without any exaggeration at all has an effect. Okay, so if you let's this really happens to me a lot, and someone else has mentioned this. I've get this comment several times. When you go to church and sing hymns, the hymns all seem to be written. Well, someone wrote to me yesterday in the comments and said that all of his hymns all seem to be written way high, that nobody, and that he said that nobody could sing. My experience is that the hymns are written so that everybody can sing them. But what that does for us is it puts us down into our chest voice and to the top of the chest. And maybe once in a while just into the bridge. And as a result, what happens is our voices crack all over the place. I started noticing that years before I understood this. And I was noticing that if I said a word a certain way, it kind of didn't, it felt different. It didn't seem to, it seemed to kind of, it just felt different. I didn't know why it felt different. Now I'm beginning to understand that it was keeping the larynx more stable, and then the vibrations change. All right, so I'm going to, hey, Thiago, nice to have you here today. I'm still not able to sing G4. It's frustrating. Thiago, don't try so hard. And be very, very strict on the exercises. Reduce how loud you're doing them, and be very strict that you do them like you and I did them when we did it successfully. So you'll get it. Let me tell you a story, Thiago. I've had at least 2 or 3 or 4 young men who were 19 who left for 2 years to serve a mission for the church, for their church, and when they came back, they could do it. Why? Because it's just 2 more years and their voice is maturing. That's not to say you can't do it till you're 21. You will. You can get it when you're 19. But when you're younger, the younger you are, the harder it is. Alan says, I go to church and sing hymns, don't find them too high. Very few reach the bridge. Okay, so I'm sure that everybody's different hymns are written, could be differently, but mine seemed like there are a lot of them. Well, I mean, it depends on what I do. If I sing harmony, if I sing the bass, then of course it's not a problem. But if I'm singing the melody line with the ladies with the sopranos, and I'm singing melody, which I do sometimes, you want to sing the melody, and or I'll sing tenor. It's kind of different for me now because I know what's going on and I know what to do. But I just remember a lot of times singing the melody and when I'd hit a certain word. And and if I said the word a little bit differently or held my tongue a little bit differently saying the same word, it felt different. Come to find out, I was narrowing a vowel and didn't know what I was doing. So we'll talk about that. Okay, so let's talk about some vowels. And if you want to write these down, you can. I'm going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 vowels. And the first set of vowels, if you say ah, 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 say ah, and they'll say ah, ah, On the tongue is flattening out from the middle of the tongue to the front. The tongue flattens out from the middle of the tongue to the front. And all of the vowels that I'm going to give you now tend to do that. They flatten from the mid-tongue out. And so I'm going to start and give you a vowel that is more open, a more open vowel. And it's more open because there's more exposure from the tongue to the hard palate. Okay? Can you tell that leaves everything quite the hard palate? That's the bony roof of your mouth is very accessible. I mean, it's just everything is. The hard palate is very exposed on the word Okay, so that's very open vowel. And now I'm going to give you the next most open vowel, which is When you say you can feel that there's a little bit less. So it's going up a little bit mid-tongue, and there's a little bit less exposure, a little bit less space between the tongue and the hard palate. The next most open vowel, or I should say the next least open vowel, is I. So now the mid portion of the tongue is going up a little bit more. Play with that. You can feel that the mid portion of the tongue is rising a little bit more, and so everything's getting a little more closed. We're going from open to closed. The is about midway, okay? Midway in this set of vowels, midway closed. The next least open is A. It's a diphthong. A. And now you can feel like the mid portion of the tongue is really raising up higher, so there's much less exposure to the hard palate. And then the least exposure to the hard palate or the most closed vowel in this set of vowels, where where the closures or where the activity is from the mid to the front of the tongue, is I. Or sorry, yeah, is E. E, 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 A, E, A, E, A, E, A. So let's go from the most open, A, to E. A, E, A, E, A, E. You can feel how the tongue is essentially almost to the roof of, or in some cases, A, E, really along the edges. It's up against the surface of the hard palate, and very little space is left between the hard palate and the tongue. So there's less exposure, the least exposure to the hard palate on E. Then if I go backwards, E, A, I, A, E, A, E, E, A, I, A. So you can tell that going the other way, it begins to open up the vowel. So open versus closed vowels. Now, I know there are other singing philosophies and techniques that don't use the same terminology. I'm referring to these vowels particularly in this fashion because I've been trained this way, and I've been trained this way by people who have studied with Seth Riggs. And the approach is primarily this way because as singers, we can really relate to all these feelings here. This is really from the perspective of, it's not from the perspective of science, it's not from the perspective of what it sounds like necessarily, but I think it does. It's more from what we feel as a singer. This is very much focused on us as singers. A, E, A, I, A. Sorry, A, I, E. That's one portion of the vowels I want to talk about. Here's the other ones. Now this is getting kind of detailed, you guys, but this makes a huge difference in our singing. A huge difference. Because if you A, E, A. Put your hand on your Adam's apple and start with E. E, A, I, A. E, A, A. Actually, I feel my larynx going down a little bit. A, E, I. But I think when you say A, it's still, the point is that the vowels will move the larynx up and down. Okay, genocide, eclipse. Can you sing a song? I can, but if I did, they would shut down my broadcast because it would be a commercial song. So if you want to hear a song, any of my songs, go to my playlist on my YouTube channel and click on playlists, and there's a playlist there of me singing. I think it says me singing, and there's like 5 or 6 or so songs, and go there and listen. Okay, now here's the next set. I could probably sing some song that's in the public domain, like, or a hymn, that we won't get sued. I mean, really, it's really getting sticky now with anything you put on YouTube. If someone's got a copyright on it, the best case scenario is you're in a copyright dispute. The worst case scenario, particularly in a live broadcast, they just turn it off, unless it's in the public domain. Okay, now this set of vowels that I'm going to give you is the tongue flattening from the mid portion of the tongue, the mid portion, to the back. So it tends to flatten from the mid to the back rather than the mid to the front, which is the first set that we did. All right, so we'll start with the most open. Ah, 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 ah. And you can feel when you say ah, how it's the mid to the back is starting to drop. Ah, Now the next one to it, which is a little less open, is ah, 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 ah. If I go I can feel the the back of the tongue rising ever so little. Play with that. You can feel the starts to create a little less exposure to the hard palate. To. The next one, which is right in the middle here, is like nook. Nook. Is right in the middle. When I say middle, it's one end is most open, the next and the other end is most closed, and is right in the middle. It actually is a great vowel to create a mix of chest and head because it's right in the middle of this area. I'll go more into that in a second. O, is the next one. O, oo. Oo is your most closed. So if we go the other way, oo, o, which is the diphthong. Remember the other diphthong we did? Nay, o. It's in the same place that the a was, except this vowel tends to adjust from the mid portion to the back. O, o. There's a little bit of lip action with o too. This diphthong, o. Diphthongs are two sounds in one vowel. A. That's two sounds in one vowel, as opposed to oo, just one sound. I guess it's a monophthong. But the diphthong is two sounds. O, no, or A. Those are examples of diphthongs. So the most closed vowel that we're talking about here that is adjusting from the mid portion of the tongue to the back. So if this is the, let me see here. If this is the tongue, this is the front here. So it'd be here is where, now let me see. They would be adjusting back from here, here to there rather than here to the front, which is the other side. Okay, now, oo is most closed. Oo, o, ah. Now, it's really helpful to get a grasp of these vowels and to know that the most open vowels, so here's a truth I'll give you. Let me get a couple questions here. Yep, you're welcome, Genocide. Yeah, well, thank you very much. William Cassell, can nasal resonance make your baritone voice sound distorted?
Well, I think so. It can distort just about anything.
But if I'm singing, and I jam it up into my nose, it's going to distort, but it'll distort any voice. It doesn't have to be a baritone voice. It can be any. So the tone is supposed to go by the nasal cavity, but not
In the nasal cavity, okay?
usually. A lot of it has to do with the larynx coming up. Because sometimes the tongue then goes up too, and that closes off and forces everything into the nasal cavity. Alan says, Chuck, I have a question that is not necessarily on the subject. Does belting occur in chest voice or head voice? I've heard belting over to like C5, and in belting all vowels are with full open mouth. Alan, it kind of depends on how you're defining belt. If you're just calling pulled up chest voice or kind of yelling, belting it, then it can be all in chest. But if it's just a high larynx belt, or like a high larynx mix kind of belt, then it can be mix and it can be in head voice, and still have the quality uh, of the vowels being wide open. So it does not have to occur in only chest voice or in only head voice. There's that you can mix a belt, and it's going to, and it depends just on how the belt is produced by the singer. But in most instances, the vowels are more open. That so in the case of what we're talking about today, if I said, we talked about this the other day with Amy Lee in Evanescence, and she's singing "Tell," and in the first example in the album, she's singing "Tell" in a mix. There are other instances that she and other singers sing it open. So if I'm trying to stay in my mix, then I might say something like "Tell." So you can hear the if I said "tell." Now this is an example of how a vowel can raise the larynx and cause the chest to be pulled up. If I said, and I'm at F sharp, which is the top of the first bridge, E, F, F sharp. If I said, "tell," listen how I sing and I'm singing tell, L, tell. Now, if I will slightly close that vowel, meaning that I'm going to go a little less exposure to the hard palate and go from to I, just slightly. You can hear how at one point all the vibration drops down below the hard palate, or most of the vibration. I certainly feel it. As soon as that vibration drops down into my mouth, then it's a different energy hitting my vocal cords, and right away they thicken up, and I feel a strain. And so when I'm in a mix, though, it feels so much better, and I'm not pulling the larynx up. I'm not pulling the chest voice up. So that's an example of how a vowel can raise the larynx and cause pulled up chest. Let me do that again. I'll start it out in a mix with a little bit of I. I'm narrowing it from to I. Tell. Now if I went to tell, just wide open tell, without a little bit of I in it, without narrowing it slightly to the from the to the I, which are sitting side by side in that list of vowels I gave you. And so I'll just do it wide open tell. Tell. Can you see my tongue slightly closing? That's how a vowel. So back up a second. Imagine what's going on inside my mouth in terms of the space where where there's vibration, okay, and where it's resonating. By just changing the shape of that space, which is what vowels do, it changes the space inside your mouth. Just by changing that space, it also changes where it vibrates. Did you hear the difference between tell and till? A little bit of I in that eh. Okay. See what you think about that. I can show you an example after example after example. One way is mix. Tell. The other way is chest. Tell. And it hurts my head but I can definitely feel it on my vocal cords, and the audience feels like they're getting slapped in the ears. Some people have learned to prefer that sound, but it's going to. This is the reason why people end up having to have surgery on their voices if they're always pulling. It's abuse. It's a vocal abuse, and you can get nodules and other things. So it's not just affecting good singing; it's affecting the health of your voice. All right. So so the vowel from going from a closed to a more open vowel can pull the larynx up and pull the chest voice up, and the vibration just drops into chest instead of having a mix of head and chest vibration going at the same time. And then if this is where the vibrations are occurring here, and watch my tongue. Can you see? There's more exposure to the hard palate as it opens up, and the vibration drops down and just into my mouth. I'm no longer having vibration go up to my head, and that changes everything. And that's what happens when you're singing along in a song. You'll be singing along, and all of a sudden you hit tell. If I said, I'll probably get arrested for this. Can you feel the love tonight? So maybe they'll keep me open. I don't know. So, can you feel the love tonight? It's a great practice. If I said, can you? It's just pulling up my chest voice. But if I say, what's the next vowel right next to Who can tell me? What's the vowel right next to Did you write these down? So if I go from to instead of saying I can say can you to can you feel, and that starts to give me a mix. Can you? Then I take a low breath, pull my tummy in, and I can sit right into that in my mix. Can you feel? Or this is advanced. I don't expect anybody to be able to do this at first. It's tough to do this, but I can start it out in key, slow motion. Key. So I've learned now to get it in that place. The puts it, open it slightly, but leave it in the narrow place. Can you feel? And so that's a way to do a mix with the vowel that's, it's not wide open, otherwise I'd be pulling chest. I'm still in that narrower place, the smaller place, the put it. Can. But if I said, if I do that, then I lose it. So it took me years to be able to do that. All right, so I've been talking a lot. Let me take some questions. That's how these vowels are extremely, someone said to me once, the vowels are the holy grail of singing. I think it was, first time I heard somebody say that, I think it was Jeffrey Skousen. So Jeffrey, if this gets back to you, thank you. You're awesome. And the holy grail of singing, vowels. My teacher, one of my teachers that I was with for a long time, Dean Kalin, was always trying to help me to stay in my mix. And it was just so hard to do. And he'd help me narrow the vowel, and then he'd say, no, it fell out. Then he'd help, give me the right vowel again. And, it was just, it challenged me. You guys are better than me. You can be better than me. But it took me a long time. All right, so backing up a little bit. So Genocide, I hope you got to listen to a couple songs there. Anybody wants to go there to listen to some of the songs. And usually it's like one take. Most of the time it's like late at night. And I just would do them because I wanted to do a song, you know. And I didn't do any. I don't even know how to do auto tuning. And so there's some places you can hear it might be a little off here and there, but that's the real me. And you know, I haven't recorded a song for a while. Most all those songs, you know, they have a copyright dispute against me because somebody else owns the copyright. William asks, can nasal resonance make your baritone voice sound distorted? And hopefully, William, I was able to show you that it can distort it, distort the tone, and it can do that with any vocal classification. Like it could be the same for a bass or an alto or a soprano as well. Hussein, hi, nice to have you here. Thank you. He says it's good to see you again, and good to see you too. Wanted to ask if, as you suffer from acid reflux. Yes, I do. Mine's been bad for months with a chronic cough. It's become really difficult to bridge. I've started breaking and flipping. Yeah, Hussein, it kind of takes that slick surface off of the chords, and also causes them to be a little swollen. So it's a double whammy. You know, things aren't working as well as they do when the vocal cords are healthy. So I take a Zantac before I go to bed, and I forgot to take it today. I take a time release capsule that reduces the acid reflux throughout the 24-hour period. And I'm trying not to eat. You know, here's the crazy thing. I was doing pretty well for quite a while, and then I ate like a whole thing of graham crackers, right? And I got reflux during the night, and it's hurt. You know, the problem is once you get that reflux and the vocal cords get kind of raw, then even if it's like kind of what your reflux that you have naturally that you can manage, it continues to keep it raw. So it's hard. I feel your pain. I'm really worried about it. Is it normal for acid reflux sufferers? Afraid so. Don't eat late. Okay, I'm going to give you the advice. Stop eating at 7 o'clock, and prop yourself up a little bit on your pillow. Try to stay away from things that you know causes some burning. And so, all right. And I would get medication, Hussein, for sure. I would say, you know, and just get it under control. I don't like taking pills. I'll take a Zantac every night, one of them, but the other time release things, I try not to. I try to stop those. I don't like taking them all the time. So I try and get my reflux back into control, and then I'll go off of those 24-hour time release acid prohibitors. I think they're called proton pump inhibitor or something like that. I don't think it's proton's the word, but it does inhibit the acid production, those time release capsules. And you can get them here in the U.S. You can buy it at over the counter, not in the, and the doctors will prescribe something of the same quality but more, you know. So that's what I do. I'm not a doctor. Go see your doctor, and he'll give you or she'll give you the advice to help you. Got to go. Be right back. Okay. William Cassell says, does distortion have more to do with the larynx than it does with the nose? I think it's a combination, William. The distortion, the nasality, that nasally sound, I think is really, you're hearing it as a result of what's coming through into the nose. So, but many times, if not all times, it's you'll find that the larynx is high, and that's also affecting where the vibrations are going, and where the air flow is going, and so forth. So they're interrelated, but I actually feel like what you're hearing is a result of what's coming out, what's coming through the nose, okay? You can kind of check yourself, pinch your nose, and if your tone changes, then you know you've got some things going into your nose. I can kind of feel that today myself. But it's really pronounced. If the tone is really in your nose, then you can when you pinch your nose like that, that's really a big difference. So you can kind of check yourself to see if the vibration or the air is if that tone is flowing into your nasal cavities. All right. Hussein says, as if I've lost my mix. It's heartbreaking. Yeah, Hussein, it's a struggle. Acid reflux is a real problem with singers. You got to be aware of what's kind of causing it. It doesn't necessarily be. It's not necessarily the same for all of us. Alan says, thanks for answering. You're welcome. Postfix. By the way, love your channel. Thank you very much. Lots of love from Bangladesh. Well, thank you, Postfix. Thanks for joining us from Bangladesh. That is awesome. Amazing. Janet to A. Wilson. Modeling tongue with your hands is so helpful. Really enjoyed this. I am on an Estelle voice course this week, so I'm very much into vocal science. The tell example is great. Thanks, Janet, and good luck on your course. Nino Fernando. Hello, my friend from Brazil. Nino, hi. Great to have you here today. The Saint says, thanks for your advice, Chuck. So hopefully my voice will rebuild itself as it heals then. Yes, unless the damage can be so severe that it permanently burns the cords. But and I've worked with Seth Riggs for a number of years. I haven't seen him for a while, but over the period of time, he's shared with us that his voice is husky and has a little bit of huskiness to it because of acid reflux, and so it's just something you've got to be vigilant on. And I go to the doctor for sure. Go to the doctor, and that's what I did. I went to the doctor. They scoped. They took a look at my vocal cords. They saw the reflux, the effect of the reflux. That there was all red and around surrounding the cords, and the cords. They were slightly puffy and swollen, and so they put me on medications. And then I came back, 8 weeks later, and they still weren't there, so they changed the prescription, increased the dosage, and I came back another 2 months later or something, and it had resolved by then, and I could feel it had resolved. And that's what I had to do, and now I kind of know what I'm feeling, and so I'm doing it on my own. I think I can tell, and I'm actually better now than I was a couple weeks ago, so I'm encouraged. Hi, Abby. Can you go into detail on how to do the long A sound correctly? So the long A, meaning like A, B, C, D. A is a diphthong, so there's two sounds, A, E. And when you're singing below your bridge and you're not close to the bridge, let's just say you're singing. Is there a common word that, let's just say, say. So I don't really have to worry about the vowel when I'm not, I want to say it correctly, right? But I don't have to worry about it spreading or opening too wide or causing me to pull chest or raise the larynx. When I'm singing down low, the places, this is a really good question, Abby. Thank you for this, because it helps me realize that I've got to make a point here. The vowels are more critical as you're getting close to your bridge, and as you're singing in your bridge, and as you're singing into head voice. When you're comfortably in your chest voice, yes, you can still spread a vowel. If I said, let me see if I can think of, try to remember the kind of September. So I'll probably get arrested for this too, but if I said, try to remember the kind of September. So if I sing try to remember and I started spreading the vowel, even though for most guys that's just chest. Now, interestingly enough, it's in my bridge because I bridge with the bassos. So I wouldn't want to do that there. But I would say that a regular baritone and tenor and many of the basses would be able to sing try to remember, and if they did that would be fine. But if you, so I guess you're right, I could open that too wide even in chest, and so it's kind of what it feels like and what it sounds like. If it starts to distort, in other words, when you're talking you don't say try, you just say try to remember. And that's the other point of this. We narrow the vowels, yes, to help us to stay in our mix, and so we don't pull chest, but it also helps us stay understandable. We want to narrow the vowel so it comes out as it normally sounds. If we don't narrow it slightly, then it's really easy to splat it and spread it. So to answer your question, it depends really on where the A is being sung. Well, let's just take normally in chest voice, you're going to be fine wherever you are. You're going to be fine. But if you are approaching your bridge or in the bridge or in head voice, then that's where these things are important. So if I said nay, let's just say nay, 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 because it's an A sound. If I said nay, 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 I'm staying too long on the beginning of the diphthong. A. So this is the E, this is the A. A. So when I'm in the bridge or close, or I'm approached to the bridge, I'm in the bridge or in head voice, I don't want to sing it over here. A. It's going to pull. It's going to pull the larynx up. It's going to pull my chest voice, and the vibrations is going to be here in my mouth, and I'm going to be yelling it. So I want to go a little bit towards the E, and that's where you have to kind of experiment. But if I said nay, 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 A, listen to how many sounds there are in A. We can't really say nay, 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 nay. It sounds like I'm singing knee, which I am. So we can't go all the way to the E part of A. So we have to find some place in the middle, Abby, preferably like right, someplace towards the middle of that A. And what it really, how you can feel that is try it and see if you're able to stay in the mix and in head voice and not be dropping into chest. Because there's also a possibility of over narrowing. So we don't want to over narrow because the audience they don't want to say, oh, he's saying knee instead of nay, or in the case of, if I said try to remember, so I put a little in the I. Try to remember the kind, because I can stay in a mix on that sound. But if I did it too much, try to remember, the audience is going to say, well, he's saying try to remember. So you can't over adjust it. You've got to, and that's kind of a different adjustment there, the I to but that's another narrowing technique that's not necessarily easy to find on this chart. I. Anyway, IE is a diphthong, isn't it? Yeah, so that's not on that chart. E, A, And so it'd be on a list of diphthongs. I would be. So if you listen to that, so what I'm saying, Abby, is just pick out something in the middle there and try it. Nay, nay, nay. Nay, 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 nay. I'm kind of singing it N-E-Y. Nay. Nay, 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 nay. If I were singing say, rather than say. So I'm like in the middle, maybe slightly towards the E sound. That's how you work with all of those. And find where does the vibration, where is it staying? If it's still going in chest, narrow it a little bit more towards the E. Nay. Once you're in it, you can go back towards the A little bit as long as it doesn't fall back into your chest voice. It takes a while to learn how to do that. William says if you take the sound out of your nose, suddenly you'll start to sound kind of muddy and almost like Sylvester Stallone in Rocky. Well, it depends, William. If you're having trouble with nasality, try this. I mean, this is a quick fix. It doesn't address the larynx. Say, ka, 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 ka. Now, do it backwards where you're inhaling. Ka, 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 ka. So you're singing ka, but the airflow is going back into your throat. Ka, ka, ka. So you're inhaling and you're saying ka. Now when you sing, try and keep that same feeling while you're singing, that reverse ka, ka, and see what happens. I don't think you'll sound like Sylvester Stallone. Divox says that must be why I don't care for singing the word up in the first chorus of Take It Easy, but don't mind the word lose. Exactly. Yes. So Divox, when you're singing the word up, it's and if in that list of vowels that I gave us today, if I go from to which is the middle one, like nook, or good, to try that and say, whatever the pitch is, up, 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 and it's gonna make singing that easier, for sure. To So when you understand these vowels, you start to self-correct. For those of you who have purchased Sing Higher Than Ever Before and gotten the bonus course, the Bridge Kit, it's got all that information in there. Some of you have. I saw, let me see, someone here I know has, and Abby has. She's a member of Singers Impact. Okay, so is there anything called overtraining? Is there a thing called overtraining? Yes. Yeah, you don't reach the maximum capacity of your voice by overtraining or by pushing yourself beyond your limit every single time you do exercises and so forth. You take it gradually. Just like imagine you were starting out lifting weights and going to the gym. You take it gradually. It takes weeks just to get to the point where you're moving correctly. And then you start adding some weight to it and so forth. So you're right. And you want to take a little bit at a time. Valerio, hi. Valerio, nice to have you here today. I use this for acid reflux. Okay, so here's there's a little thing that works for Valerio. I stopped to take too much medicine. Yeah. And Caro spray, all right, 20 milliliters before I go to bed, and high pillow, and is working well. Thanks, Valerio. It's great to find something that works for you. Just remember, everyone, that what I do for me doesn't necessarily work for you, and so on. So find out what works for you. I don't think this is a prescription type thing. So Valerio is sharing a home remedy, and it's working for him, and that's awesome. Overtraining has in 2 hours of 2 sessions in a day, or other sessions for an hour-long training. Yeah, so, if you do these exercises that I teach correctly, if you did 30 minutes a day and did them right, you're going to see incredible progress. Incredible progress. Or if you did 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night. It doesn't have to be. It's not about how long. It's about how correct. Not that it'll work for everyone, but I've solved my reflux. Great. With an anti-inflammatory type diet, like keto. Okay, awesome. No reflux or meds for 2 years. Like keto. LCHF. Thanks, Devox. Nice to get that tip. Yes, as in great. I can't seem to bridge it. So, great. How great. So if I said, how great, how great. So you can't say, how great. It's going to pull. And you can't go to E, how great. That's greet. So you have to stop in between. How great. So I try to go to the I say an Irish but but I don't think the Irish would appreciate that. I don't know if that's really accurate, but great. So great, 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 grit, great, and it comes out great, great. So try and find that mid zone there, Abby, on the pitch that you need, and if it still won't stay, if it still wants to fall in chest, go a little bit more towards the E. You may have to kind of cheat it and say, how great, 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 great. So I'm going, listen, great. I'm going through the great, but I do it fast enough that you can't hear it. Great. And you can land, but you don't want to go all the way to great. You don't want to go that far. All right. Hey, Remen, R-E-M-O-N. Abraham, nice to have you here. You guys, I have a lesson in 3 minutes with a gentleman in Sweden. And so I've got to run. But thank you very much for a great session today. Lots of awesome comments. A little bit nerdy, but critical. Critical. Really important stuff. So I hope this has been helpful. This will be one that you want to revisit. This is one for the ages. No, not really. But it's really great information here. It's going to help a lot. I'll probably use this and send it to people who have questions on vowels. All right. I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing. And today it's Power to Sing Live, number 141. You can sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power. See you inside the next video.